in Sedona, Arizona, bringing you the weekly intuitive energy update where we take a look at the astrology that's going on this week, and I also share insights from the tarot. And so the big thing that we have going on this week is that we're about to move into Scorpio season. And so that's going to be the main focus of what I'm going to talk about in this particular video. And then, as many of you may know, we also have a solar eclipse coming up next week on the new moon, and I'm going to make a separate video for that, and I'll be uploading that within the next day or so. This video is actually take 2 of the live video that I did yesterday, and there was some type of technical glitch and I ended up looking sideways. So I deleted that one and I'm redoing it right now for all of us. So anyway, I'm going to start by talking about what's going on with the sun and the moon. As you know, I typically do these weekly energy updates in alignment with the different phases of each month's lunar cycle. And so yesterday we had the last quarter moon phase happen in the sign of Cancer, and right now the moon has already moved into Leo. But I want to talk about the energy of the last quarter phase of the moon. So the energy is waning right now. It's dissipating after the full moon. So it's a time of energetic release, surrender, letting go. And so as we're tying this back into whatever new moon intentions that you had set for yourself at the new moon, this is a really good time for reflecting right now. Like, okay, what came of my intentions? How did the intentions that I set for myself on the new moon, how did they shape up? How did they become expressed? How did they manifest? And now how can I have a deeper reflection around how this might be serving my bigger picture for myself? And of course, this is all in preparation for the new moon that happens next week. So with the moon in Leo today, it should bring a mood of exuberance, creative expression, wanting to be out and about, being a little bit more social. But of course, the moon transits through the signs every 2.5 days, and so they're shorter term influences. I'm going to go ahead and talk about what's going on with the sun, because we've got some significant shifts happening with the sun this week as we're moving into Scorpio season. Right now, we're in the last few days of Libra season. So the sun is in Libra, but it's also conjoined or aligned with Venus, which is also in Libra. Libra is the energy of, we can say, the archetype of the diplomat. It's an energy that wants everything to be harmonized, in a good flow, ease, peace. So with the sun and Venus both in Libra right now, this month we've been already experiencing or efforting towards bringing more of a feeling of flow, ease, grace, harmony in our life within our own self as that relates to the sun, and also within our relations, not only romantic relationships, but the people that are closest to us, that we have in our innermost, sacred space, inner circle of relating. There's been a month of an air of enjoying harmonious, peaceful interactions. And now we're getting ready to go into Scorpio season, which happens on the 23rd. So I'm skipping ahead of myself a little bit here. There's a few other things that I want to talk about. But what I want to say here is that the sun and Venus are remaining in conjunction as they both ingress into Scorpio on the 23rd. So it's going to bring a little bit of a change of vibe, right? So Scorpio is the archetype of the alchemist, and it's connected to the planet Pluto and Mars, which we're going to look at. In fact, there is tomorrow a square happening between the Sun, Venus, and Pluto. So let me go ahead and talk about that first. So Pluto, the alchemist, ruler, co-ruler of Scorpio. And so there's also a big energy signature or theme around things having to do with metaphoric birth, death, renewal, transformation. And so as we're coming into Scorpio season, there's themes coming in around our personal transformation and our matters having to do with our soul growth, soul alchemy, which also has to do with healing old wounds, delving into our shadow side. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But first, let me talk a little bit more about this square that's happening with Pluto between the Sun and Venus tomorrow. And then, that energy is influencing us as we're moving into Scorpio season. So, again, you can look at squares in astrology as being like little checkpoints. So, the Sun and Venus has already been in Libra, feeling fine, feeling good, feeling harmonized. And then Pluto comes into that square saying, okay, hey, wait, let's take a look at what we can bring transformative energies into that will ultimately have the effect of bringing us into even more well-being, more harmony. But with this square coming in, it can have a tendency to activate some of the lower vibrational frequency aspects of the Sun and the Moon. So the Sun is about our identity and our ego, and Venus is things having to do with love, beauty, and values. So the things that we have to watch out for, I guess, during this square is things that are more self-indulgent, things that feel like gluttonous behavior. We can get sucked into things having to do with jealousy, which is a lower octave of Venus. We could also get hooked into self-gratification which could look like excess of things that are usually connected to pleasures of the senses. So what we're eating, what we're smelling, what we're touching, what we're tasting, we might lean into those types of things as a form of self-soothing. And so we want to be aware of that and work towards not only keeping it in balance, but utilizing those tendencies or the awareness of those tendencies to support like a bigger picture healing journey. Like, okay, why am I reverting to this? What's it about? What's the root of it? And how can I heal it? On a evolutionary astrology level, that's like the best way to work with this energy as we're moving into Scorpio season. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about before we delve a little bit more deeply into what's going on with the Scorpio season energies is that we do still have a grand trine happening, which is a positive aspect between Venus in Libra, Saturn in Aquarius, and Mars in Gemini. So we've already talked about Venus and what's going on with that. And then with Saturn in Aquarius, which it is retrograde, but it goes direct in just a few days. So this is a significant thing going on here. So Aquarius is the energy of forward thinking. It can be about our future. It's definitely innovative, outside of the box sort of ways of looking at things, perceptions, perspectives, and things like that. And Gemini being connected to things having to do with communication. It's the archetype of the messenger, so to speak. So our thoughts, our desire to communicate, things having to do with learning, studying, and things like that. So with this grand trine being a beneficial aspect, if we're looking at the signs involved and the planets involved, and how this might support this deep dive into soul alchemy that we're about to go into, let's take a look at that. So Venus in Libra now, but getting ready to move into Scorpio, supports us in clarity of awareness about what we value in our life right now, and harnessing that and holding that near and dear as we're moving into this depth of soul alchemy. Saturn in Aquarius is innovation, innovative ways of leading ourselves forward. Saturn is about our self dedication, our self responsibility on the levels that have to do with soul growth. It can be self-discipline and things having to do with the structures of our lives, but Aquarius renovates that, innovates that, especially when it goes direct on the 23rd. Saturn has been retrograde since the beginning of June, and when Saturn goes retrograde, it brings us into an energy of reevaluating what the structures of our life are. Some of us may have been in situations where we had things change in our life that called for a reevaluation or a reassessment around the structures of our life. But again, with it going direct now, bringing innovative awarenesses on how to lead ourselves forward in alignment with our highest timeline because of some of these other things that are going on, which I'll talk about in a moment. But then with Mars in Gemini, we want to communicate what our ideas are. In the very least, this is a really empowering time to have deep, clear awareness and communication within yourself about what your ideas are, and be prepared to begin being able to start implementing those ideas as Saturn is going direct on the 23rd in the sign of Aquarius. So this grand trine in air signs is supporting illuminated awareness, innovative ideas that we are going to feel like we can begin to actually implement finally once Saturn goes direct on the 23rd. And then the other thing that I want to say about that is that as Saturn is going direct, it's going to start transitioning out of a square that's been going on between Saturn and Uranus. Now, Uranus is an energy of cosmic awareness. It's profound change that can be unexpected. And so with this square that's already been going on, unexpected changes regarding the structures of our lives, now we can begin to reorganize around those things. In my life, this showed up with that whole flood thing that I had going on at my office, the building that my healing center was in, which basically resulted in me having to find a new place for my healing center, which the whole time that Saturn has been retrograde, I've been on my search for that new location. And lo and behold, right when Saturn is going direct, I just found a new office space like last week, and I move in starting November 1st. So it's really uncanny how this energy plays out. I love this. So anyway, what else do we want to talk about here? So the sun enters Scorpio on the 23rd, which brings us inward, basically brings us inward. It compels us to want to explore deeply within ourselves on that soul level, on that alchemy level, on that transformative level, where we're wanting to get to the root of any unconscious woundedness that has been perhaps sabotaging us or impacting us, and bringing those things into healing. So that's basically what Scorpio season is all about. But with Venus in the mix, oops, got a little yard work going on out there right now. But with Venus in the mix coming into Scorpio, it's bringing in themes about relationships. So this is relationships with people who are nearest and dearest to us. It's our relationship with ourselves. And this is going to be really connected to a big theme that's continuing throughout Scorpio season and continuing into that solar eclipse energy that we've got going on the 25th, which I'm going to talk more about in another video. But that eclipse is also happening in the sign of Scorpio. So it feels like ultimately we're moving into a time of deep soul alchemy where we can bring revitalization and renewal to our own individual path, and with themes having to do with the relationships in our life that matter the most to us. So I'm going to go ahead and share the same cards. I didn't want to change the reading, so I did, as I said, I did this video originally yesterday, and then some technical issue made it look like I was sideways, so I'm redoing it. But I'm maintaining the cards that came out in the reading yesterday. And so the reading that I'm doing here is connected to that last quarter moon phase energy, which is about what's releasing, what's integrating, and what's establishing in preparation for renewal as we're coming into the new moon. And so what's releasing is anywhere that you've had tunnel vision around what has not felt harmonized or aligned, especially having to do with themes around home, family, and relationship. The 10 of Cups came up reversed. Now, when this card comes up right side up, it promises a return of joy, harmony, fulfillment, happiness after periods of challenges, trials, and tribulations. So in the reverse position, it's a reminder to let go of anything that you've been hanging on to in your mind and your awareness around where you haven't felt completely fulfilled, and be in the mindset of bringing more vibrance back into your life, which is indicated with the rainbow here. So there's a rainbow of cups here, and when the card is reversed, the rainbow is at the base of the situation, which is a message about bringing magic into your life, bringing color, bringing spice, bringing flavor, bringing optimism back in. So we're releasing what has been tunnel vision around what we haven't felt good about, but again, we can still use that energy to inform the healing journey that we're coming into, the alchemy journey, the transformation that we're coming into in Scorpio season. And what we want to do is hold space for bringing more vibrancy in. And then with what's integrating, I love this. It's the 8 of Cups that came up reversed. So when this card comes up in an upright position, it's the energy of being on a little bit of a spiritual sabbatical, a spirit quest, a vision quest, where you're seeking yourself, you're seeking to reconnect with yourself more deeply. So when this card comes up reversed in the position that indicates what's integrating, this literally is returning to yourself and integrating, embodying whatever it is that you've come into the awareness of or experienced while you've been literally or metaphorically seeking those types of awarenesses and reconnections for yourself. So it's a time of integration regarding that reuniting, that reconnection with your deepest authentic soul self. And then what's birthing, what's preparing to birth. On the other side of this eclipse season we're coming into, on the other side of the Scorpio season, and in regard to the new moon, we want to remember that this solar eclipse that's happening in Scorpio is in alignment with the new moon. So what's birthing? A new dream, a new vision, a new awareness. The Seven of Cups is all about potentials, possibilities, options, opportunities. And it's an invitation to dream big. Think of your bigger picture, highest vibrational reality that you want to put positive energy towards right now. And then beginning a journey of, on a very practical level, one step at a time, making some decisions around what you need to prioritize right now, or what would be the best use of channeling your energy in the direction of, in order to begin to anchor that new dream into reality, to create and manifest that new dream. So yeah, it feels amazing. I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to upload another video that's talking a little bit more specifically about the eclipse energies. But this week, we're preparing to journey into Scorpio season. So a really good overall awareness to have for those of us who are on that journey of soul evolution is to have some introspection around what you want to clear, what you want to heal, what you want to release, what you want to integrate, and what you desire to empower, activate within you, so that you can move into Scorpio season with these things in mind specifically. Okay guys, all my love, blessings, namaste. I'll see you around the corner in the next video, where we're going to talk a lot more about the specifics of the solar eclipse coming up. So I'll see you in that video. Take care guys. Have a blessed one.